goddamn peasants. Old King Normal. What else they call them? Minis. Gotta look into minis. Cause we see we had many fights with these Africans while we was over there, bro. Oh, that's that clone shit. Eating that clone meat since 2008, knowingly. Been feeding you this shit. Been feeding us that shit. That shit crazy. That shit crazy. That shit crazy. He said the communities were called gnomes along the Nile, managed local basins, irrigational systems, regional rivalries over fertile. Regional rivalries over fertile. Irrigated land and water control culminated in the Unification War. What? They made them niggas unify with them hoes. That when we became enslaved to these hoes. Once Egypt was unified in the early foreign military conflict was against Nubians. Come up from the west and the south. That's why you see all them dark-skinned fuckers as enemies there. We went down in that motherfucker and brought them irrigation system down in that bitch. We brought them irrigation system down in that bitch. Was down there and then goddamn they was trying to steal the crops and shit. We probably weren't even selling this shit, probably being friendly with the shit. Hold up, man. The ones that they call gnomes. Gnomes. Then they become homes on the gnomes. And they said they had so many. Wait, let me see if I got that screen. They said they had so many. Then they started naming the nigga gnome like a little Fort Law, little motherfucker with a little red head like Santa Claus. They just goddamn play with us all across. They just play with us like a motherfucker. The mythological gnome. You know what I'm talking about? In modern times, a little creamy lawn ornament. Made us a little lawn ornament and shit, but wearing little pointed red hats and shit like Santa Claus. North Pole, the nigga. We became the elves and all that shit on. Man, these motherfuckers crazy. Yeah, I mean, gnomes. In ancient Egypt, a gnome was a political and administrative district, much like modern states or province. There were 42 gnomes in total, 22 upper and 20 in the lower Egypt, down in that valley there. Each gnome was managed by a local governor called a nomarch. You where they get the monarch from? The nomarch, who was responsible for the overseeing of the regional agricultural production, collecting taxes, and maintaining a vital Nile irrigation system that fed the empire. Ain't no empire yet, bitch. So they enslaved us off the rip. Once we come in and put all that work in and finally get some crops in that bitch, that's why they be talking about famine in the land and all that shit. Man, they knocked us off the rip. The Hebrew enslaved off the rip. He ain't no Israelite, but he fucked up off the rip. But he came over there and did that damn shit for you there through there. Showed you how to eat there. Y'all wasn't eating like that until them folk came from the Americas, man. Them goddamn Hebrews there. Yeah, I'm a Hebrew now, I'm on their ass. That crazy. And this is where they get monarch from. That crazy. The people who came from the south to take over Egypt were the Cushites. Cush, Nubia. Them black motherfuckers, they had that gold, but them motherfuckers, they got them come to get them crops, bro. And tell a nigga he can take his ass back home. And nah, you ain't gonna take your ass back home. Get the bill, we bill us more of that shit. Yeah, you gonna work for us. You gonna give you a little position there. You'll be my vizier there. Bitch, build this shit. Build this shit up till we get tired of your pussy ass. But we the one feeding you. Bitch, we don't give a fuck about you working in no field. Bitch, you a peasant. That's what they call niggas that work in the field, peasants now. So we went from agricultural God to feeding you motherfuckers, right there to feed you, to just peasants. Ain't daddy, bitch. Do y'all see what I'm trying to show you right there? The big ass slaters off the rip. They passed by these niggas dropping off shit on the way before we irrigated the land. We probably coming through that bitch dropping shit out too. There be them fuck ass little mo. Sit right up under that desert, Morocco, dropping them off. They right down the northwest tip. Then went on, knocked them off. Then goddamn. After the African took over that bitch, after the Kushites took over that bitch, Nubia took over that bitch. Guess what? Them Persians came in and laid down on their head. Bitch, you want that oil field? Bitch, you want all this shit. Put the goddamn going that bitch, taking what they want about that bitch, ran that shit like it was they shit. 525 BC, the Persians came and took that shit from them Africans. You know, Persians know some oil was up under that bitch. That's what they at. They don't give a fuck about that shit. They went over there and ran that shit. And then here come the Greeks. Coming in, Johnny come. I told you them Greek motherfuckers ain't never seen no nigga on no throne, man. Them Greek motherfuckers ain't never whooped no nigga, man. Them Persians whooped them niggas, man. Them fake ass Arab whooped them niggas, man. Took that bitch and went to running that bitch, and as they running that bitch, they destroying that bitch at the same time. They had to destroy the irrigation system for the bitch to turn back in the desert. Ain't no goddamn globe turn with no plates and no guava off no globe and no tectonic plates shifted and all that shit. Man, they all tore up the irrigation system. Why the irrigation system ain't do that everywhere else? Tore up all that shit them folks talking about. They don't give a fuck, they gonna clone everything. They gonna give you clone lettuce, clone cabbages, clone meat. Everything gonna be robot and fake. You gonna be, man, if fake humans running around this bitch now, boy, we in trouble. The natural man gone, like a natural man, he gone. We dead. We dead. These motherfuckers to whoop the sun, man. These hoes are naturally, unnaturally whoop nature. These motherfuckers crazy. So I got to go and check Norm ass out. See exactly what the fuck he on. Who was he, an African, or was he goddamn my bloodline? I think Norm probably. I don't know. I got to go check him out, man. Cause he called himself making some unification. When y'all unified as some black ass, Osiris ass, mythological ass motherfuckers that went against the motherfucking irrigational motherfuckers. They become the peasants and the slave. That's where the Hebrew become the slave at. And to this day, we'll feed a nigga. We'll feed. That one thing about it, we'll feed a motherfucker. We will feed a motherfucker. Most of our women get enjoyment out of goddamn feeding a motherfucker. That's in our nature. That's in their nature. They get enjoyment watching you eat their food. They don't even want to. They want to see you taste it and make sure you like it. They just lick their fingers while they cook that shit. Taste a little bit here, taste a little bit that. You know, they good, they good. And then feed your ass. That's what grandma them do to this day. I don't know what he knew, grandma. I'm just saying. That's our nation to feed motherfuckers. Agriculture. That shit make sense to me, bro. But we brought motherfucking stone building and everything to the bitch, but the bitches who feed you, they just turn it to the peasants, the servants, the kitchen workers. Bitch, we growing crops, lining up the season with the stars. This godless shit. They went against all that. Fuck the sun, fuck what you talking about. I'm the porter, bitch. Now let me govern your ass and get profit. I want to profit off this shit. And I'm gonna issue this food out. Yeah, you can get your EBT card, bitch. Yeah, we gonna issue this shit. You can get you a couple of food stamp there, EBT cards, and bitch, all them tomatoes by now be missing. If I catch you eating down one of the tomatoes out there, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you around real bad, ho. Understand me? I'm gonna fuck you around real bad, ho. That what the fuck went down. The agriculture culture, we became, the gods became motherfucking The gods became motherfucking peasants. The ones who brought the food to you. The ones who brought the food to you. The one who brought the irrigation system and turned the desert into fertile land and brought all them crops that can feed empires. They became the peasants, the Hebrew slaves, the American bloodline. That's how I see it. That's how I see what's going on over that bitch now. Gnomes. Yes, gnomes became homes around this hole. Then they said they were called nomarchs. That sound like monarch. They just reverse a couple of words and goddamn just bury what the fuck you had going on. That shit crazy. That shit crazy in real life. So the first enemies of the gnomes was them fucking ass Nubians. We had went over there and set up a goddamn Stella counter over there in that bitch. Had been passed by them other niggas, breaking them off on the way up in that hole. You know what I'm talking about? Breaking them off. These hoes got cocaine and everything in their motherfucking system, man. These hoes got all our shit from the Americas over this bitch. And turned us into some Hebrew slaves to this day. The promised land versus the Holy Land. We live on the Holy Land. We came from the Holy Land. We the gods. Then they started calling the West the land of the dead. We killed them hoe ass niggas. We killed them hoe ass niggas. We got all this shit. We got all that cocaine, you know what I'm saying? We got the keys to the West. And then after that shit, after the Greek come down there, the Roman came down there and played with that shit for a minute. And then that shit became the motherfucking Mongol Empire. All over that bitch. Mongolians. Mongol took over all that shit. That's why Japan are leading for us right now. They leading the technology. The same, all the dots being connected. All the dots being connected, boy. All the dots being connected. So we went from gods to peasants. Field workers. Then when they came to America, they raised war on the farms. Now you're eating clone cows, drinking clone milk, clone pig. They don't even supposed to be eating this meat. I gotta get my mind right, boy. Hell nah, human and clone meat at McDonald's. I ain't forgot all this bullshit, boy. I ain't forgot all this bullshit. What the hell, him? Sometimes you gotta be careful when you're going looking for the truth, boy. It's gonna hurt your feelings now. That's why I be talking like I be talking. My feelings been hurt a long time. Man, this shit crazy. So the ones who was over the agriculture over there, the ones that brought the knowledge in the irrigation system, the ones who brought the irrigation system over the irrigation system over the crops. So they become peasants. And then they force them to start building for them. Cause they ass don't know how to build this shit. They ass don't know how to keep on continuing to build these tombs and graves and shit. They don't know how to do this shit. The mound builders brought that shit over there. So the Hebrew mound builders become a Hebrew slave in the land of Kemet for real, in that black land. They changed it to black though. We copper color motherfucking Hebrew, nigga. Timerians, nigga. Came over there and showed them niggas how to goddamn live and how to sustain themselves and how to eat without goddamn killing shit. How to eat life. How to sustain life with life. Vegetables and apples, and oranges, fruits, nuts and shit. From nature. Man, fuck all that. We eat meat over here, man. We eat one of y'all motherfuckers. So y'all busy there, don't get out there and get us some more salad and shit. We just want a little salad every now and then, bitch ass. Man, this shit is wild, boy. This shit that wild. Gnomes, huh? So we was known as gnomes over that bitch. Hebrew slaves in real life. In a debt that can never be repaid. A sovereign default. Sovereign default. No more sovereignty for you. And then you know what they call that shit financially? A financial covenant. Commitment. That you gotta work for me forever. This is a covenant. This is the covenant. You got to work for me forever. This is the covenant, nigga. This is the covenant in reality. Damn the myths and who go to heaven and all that shit. We're in a covenant, in a commitment that involves sacrifices and all kind of commitments and shit, loyalty and all this shit, allegiance, to work and be a servant for these motherfuckers forever, up under the covenant, because you're in a debt that you can't repay. That's why the United States is built off debt, the greatest sin. So you will be born right into this sin, and your generations for generations and generations to come will forever serve me and be my footstool. That's where the fuck we at right here. Financially. That's where the fuck we at. And it is something. If you don't want me to take it all, bitch, you better be willing to give me 10% of it. And then go give my homeboy 10% of it. My Siamese twin. See, cause God and government, see, they Siamese twin. You gotta give him 10% and him 10%. That 20% of your shit gone right up. And bitch, you act up, we gonna take all of it as soon as you act up. As soon as you act like you wanna try to get outside of my debt. I'm so glad you forgave me for trespassing upon your shit. Cause now I ain't gonna never go nowhere. And we gonna kill all this shit. And we finna kill all this shit. That's how this shit gonna go. And that's how this shit going. And now they got motherfuckers waiting. Now they got motherfuckers waiting on some mythological shit to come back to save us. Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna never gonna work. Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna never gonna work. So we in this shit forever until we realize we the people who civilized the world. We didn't civilize them. We tried to civilize some uncivilized motherfuckers. They only want power, greed, power, and control over another motherfucker. Cause I know my grandma feed a motherfucker she don't like when she was here. That's our nature. Our nature is to feed a motherfucker. Probably got extra shit, you automatically gonna take some of that shit and they don't. Take some of that shit out, take some of that shit down now. Tell them boys, I said, come on now and eat some of this shit, man. We out cooking, man. That's what a black woman is, to feed a nigga. Not a black woman, a melanated motherfucking Hebrew woman. That's how to see niggas eat good. That's real talk. I ain't never seen no American black woman grandma go home. I don't give a fuck how broke the house is, how fucked up it is. She gonna have some greens, some beans, nigga, some cornbread in that bitch. Your ass ain't gonna starve. You might be broke, but bitch, you ain't gonna starve. Your little Spider-Man lunchbox gonna have an apple or two in that motherfucker. She gonna have an extra apple enough for you to get a teacher. Broke as the fuck, but she still gonna make sure motherfucker eat. And that's our nature. And we did it by nature. We did it by knowing nature. And the sun, agriculture. The motherfuckers who was on agriculture shit became the motherfucking peasant. That's crazy as hell. I said, I'm out this bitch. You hear me? I said, I'm out this bitch. I said, boom.